Welcome back.
Welcome to the TAE Time Podcast. How's everyone? How's everything?
How y'all been?
I've fucking really, my teeth have been very sensitive lately. I know, TMI, but
You need to go to the dentist,
I need to go to the dentist, check it out. And the thing is, like, I have no problem with my teeth. I have like no cavities, no nothing, because I don't have a sweet tooth. But sometimes they just feel like really sore, and I'm like, ugh. But yeah, that's enough of my useless fact. How are you? How's everything?
I'm good. As you can see, if you're watching, I'm all glammed up today.
Why is that?
I know, right? I know. Everyone's so curious, like on the edge of their seats. We are going to an event on Saturday. On the day that this episode comes out, surprise, surprise, we'll be at the event. Where are we going?
We're going to the Black and Irish Gala Awards, so that should be pretty interesting. Looking forward to seeing all the nominees and who ends up winning the awards. It'll be definitely a very fun and interesting night, and thanks for the invitation, and we're really excited to be there, honestly.
And thank you guys for listening, and as they say, making this possible. We couldn't do it without you. No, but for real, we've gotten a lot of love on all our platforms, so we're really grateful, and that's why we got recognized, so we appreciate it.
We're not nominated for anything. We're
no, we're not nominated. We would have told you guys if we were. We would have gotten you voting, but
we're invited, and even that's just an honor in its own,
yeah.
So definitely really appreciate them inviting us, and looking forward to being there, honestly.
Yeah. And without further ado, let's get started in today's topics. We're gonna do some Reddit stories for you guys. It's been a little while since we've done a few, so let's hop straight into it with the first story of the day. So it goes like this: am I the asshole for asking my husband to join us in my sister's birthday since he was in the same restaurant? Female, was invited to my sister's 18th birthday a few days ago at a restaurant. My husband didn't come because he said he had a meeting dinner with some clients. This made my family feel let down, especially because my sister wanted him there, and also it's her 18th birthday. To my surprise, when I arrived, I noticed that my husband was having his meeting at the same place. His table was right in the corner, and he had about 4 men sitting with him. My parents and the guests saw him as well. I waved for him, and he saw me but ignored me. He obviously was as much surprised as I was. My parents asked why he didn't even come to the table to acknowledge them after the cake arrived. I got up and walked to his table. I stood there and said, "Excuse me." My husband was silent when I asked, after I introduced myself to the clients, if he'd take a few minutes to join me and the family in candle blowing and say happy birthday, but he barely let out a phrase and said, "I don't think so, I'm busy right now." I insisted, saying it'd just take a couple of minutes, and that it'd mean so much to my sister. He stared at me, then stared awkwardly back at his clients. They said nothing, and he got up after my parents were motioning for me to hurry up. He sat with us while my sister blew the candles and cut the cake. My parents insisted he takes a piece and join us in the selfie, but he got up and walked back to his table looking pissed. We haven't talked till we met later at home.
That story's kind of mad, because the thing is, like, I get it. It's like, oh yeah, he's in the same place. Let's just, all hang around and everything. But just because he's having dinner doesn't mean he's having fun. It's with clients, so it's like, it's just rubbing shoulders to make the transaction smooth. Like, fucking hell, like, just let him do, because essentially it's him working. Like, it's not
exactly. He's on the job. He's getting money for this.
Yeah, hopefully. Exactly. It's not a situation where he's like, what's it called, just having some drinks with some friends or something. It's literally like he's having dinner with clients, but in reality it's like talking about deals, being on the good side, so on and so forth, trying to make sure the whole thing works. Oh my god. Like,
do you know what though, I find it kind of weird, because usually, human nature, I suppose, when you're sitting with people, they'd be like, yeah, like, go for a few minutes. I don't know if that's just like in Ireland, everyone is just so like friendly. Like, I'd say like the whole clients would get up and go and say happy birthday together. So I don't know if it's just a culture difference, but I did find it a little bit weird that they were so like what's going on.
Yeah, that's one thing as well that I like when I first like heard of that, I was like, there was a point in my brain I was like, sure, like if that was me and I was a client, I'd be like, yeah, go, feel free to go for a little bit, take, and then come back to us once you guys are done. But I feel like once again, that's not everywhere that happens. So it's one of those things that like you take it as it is. And in that scenario, he was like, yeah, like I know whatever clients I'm having, this will be very awkward. Like they expect me to be there and very present. So he's like, yeah, like, because I assume if it was people that he kind of expected would be fine with it, he'd have no issues going up. But the fact that he was like, oh shit.
What? No. But the fact that he still got up and went over, I don't know, he could have just shooed her away or something.
No, because that would have been very awkward.
Yeah, even more awkward than that would. It was already bad. Yeah, it was already bad. She's definitely the asshole, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, she should have read the room. She should have honestly read the room in that scenario and been like, oh shit. Like, because she's been dating him, so she probably knows that, yeah, he would have no problem doing it. But obviously in this very specific scenario, he was like, yeah, I literally, like, it just looks bad on me to, like, leave,
Yeah, I think some of the comments were like, has she ever worked a day in her life? Because you just expect someone to be professional and understand, the formalities or whatever. So it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, that was our first story. She's the asshole, do you think?
Yeah, no, I do think she's the asshole. And I think she's the asshole, but I also think the clients could have been a little bit more understanding.
That's fair. And that was a nice, easy one. Now we have a few interesting ones. Okay, on to the next one. Am I the asshole for saying my boyfriend's roommate can't come to Thanksgiving dinner? Me and my boyfriend have been dating for nearly a year and a half now. Tomorrow, he's coming to Thanksgiving dinner at my dad's house and meeting my family for the first time. I'm extremely family orientated, and it's so important to me that he's finally meeting them. This also means the world to my family because I rarely bring men home, and they've been wanting to meet him for a long time. He's aware of this and how much this meeting means to me and has assured me that he's looking forward to it too. This afternoon, he asked if his roommate could come too. I was caught off guard and said no. I didn't even ask my family, who I'm sure would say yes, but it's a hard boundary for me. I barely know his roommate, but he's military and will not be able to be with his own family for the holiday, which is why my boyfriend asked. I understand and appreciate his compassion and kindness, but I need this event to be just him, me, and my family, without his buddy who is a stranger to me. I called him to talk through it, but he's extremely upset and wasn't really responding. I asked if he's still coming, and he said yes. Then I asked if he's okay, and he said no, but that he will be. I told him to reach out to me when he's ready, and that I understand if he doesn't want to talk to me right now, so I haven't heard from him since the phone call a couple of hours ago. I feel like a massive a-hole, but this is one of the rare events where I've put my foot down in this relationship and refused to accommodate his wants.
I think, honestly, I get it. I really, truly get and understand why he wants to bring that guy and like everything. And it's like, oh, this guy's going to be by himself. He doesn't really have a family, so on and so forth. But this is a very important scenario for her. And she's like, the most important thing is that you meet my family and you get to know my family and so on and so forth. And adding extra layers of complexity by bringing a stranger that's pretty much a stranger to everyone except for him just brings so much more complexity. So I think I don't think I can call her the asshole in this scenario. Like if this was like he's met the parents already and it's whatever and the friend and she's like, no, absolute straight asshole. But in this scenario, she's actually just trying to be like, yo, this is something I do not do often, and it's just too much for me to handle. I personally cannot handle all this, so please just allow me to deal with what I can deal with at one at a time.
I struggle with this one. I really do, because I can't imagine someone just being by themselves and not being able to be with their families. I know that Thanksgiving is a huge holiday, so to know that someone's just by themselves and he's friends with your partner, which you know it's someone important to them, right? So automatically, even though it's a stranger and obviously they haven't been together that long to know him that well, it's clearly something important to him. And you know, like lacking that kind of, it's not that she's lacking the compassion, but I don't know, like she said just like no straight away and then put her foot down, and it's like, oh girl, I couldn't do it. I think I would let him come.
Yeah, no, like personally myself, I would be like, I would rather be like, hey, yeah, my new girlfriend and their friend is coming because their friend's gonna be so lonely and I really don't want that. Like, but I can also see from her perspective, like why she would put her foot down. Like personally, I wouldn't do that, but I can see it and I can understand. Like for her, it's just overwhelming, right? But at the same time, it's like, and to be honest, I have to say, like asshole or not, big ups to the boyfriend, because like the fact that he's like, yeah, I will still continue ahead, but I'm not happy with this thing. I'm letting you know I'm not happy with this. I'm gonna cool down. I'm gonna go away and cool down and come back. It's very fair fucks to him, you know.
Very mature.
Because like we hear a lot of stories of fucking the guys then just throwing a fit and just being a little bitch about it the entire time. But he was like, yo, I don't like what you did, but I understand it, where you're coming from. I personally don't like it. Let me cool down and then we'll continue with our conversations.
Yeah, no, I will say that his reaction was very nice, very calm, collected, and mature. And I would say he was a little bit hurt, as well. So I'm going to go with no assholes here, because I don't think he's the asshole for requesting. And I don't think she's the asshole for saying no, because I can see where she's coming from. She's just a little bit of an asshole in my book. Just a tiny bit.
I don't think she's an asshole. I think she's just unable to deal with what she's unable to deal with. She's, I guess maybe, I wouldn't even call it selfish, because
I don't know. It's not selfish, no.
It's not selfish to me. So I'd say maybe like,
she's a little bitch.
No, it's more like unable to see the bigger picture, kind of move past herself and be like, and like, because maybe like she's not having too much empathy for the person involved.
Yeah. But what would you do? Like, if, say now it's the first time that you introduced me to your family, right? And it's like a big deal. Your family's getting to meet me. And then I'm like, can my friend come? Like, because they're alone for, I don't know, Christmas or whatever.
I'd be like, yeah, come pull through. Like, I don't think it's that deep. Like, my parents wouldn't care. They're like, oh yeah, that's fine. And I personally wouldn't care. It's one of those things. I'm like, they're just there. Like, obviously, like the only thing that would make it awkward is if like my parents end up not liking you and your friend is like there watching the entire thing unfold as well. And lol, imagine this scenario. They don't like you, but they like the friend.
Oh, it's like they can come back. Your girl can't.
I
didn't even think that of like, potential.
They're like, she would have made a better girlfriend.
Oh my god. Can you imagine that? I don't know. Yeah, it's a sticky situation. I think obviously I would bring the friend. No, I would bring the friend. It'd be nice and chill because like I know my family, but like if it were for situations for outbursts to happen or anything, you wouldn't want external people there other than who was initially in the invite. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, no assholes here for me.
No.
Okay, fair. On to the next story. Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to start making me breakfast every morning? Red flag. I have been living with my girlfriend for several months now. For the most part, things are really good and I plan to propose soon and hopefully have at least a couple of kids with her. However, we've run up against a conflict. She's an absolute morning person. I hate mornings. By the time I force myself out of bed in the morning and I into the shower, she's already been up for at least 30 minutes, even though she has to be at work later than I do, and is at the stove making breakfast. She likes a huge breakfast in the morning. She usually has eggs, either French toast or pancakes, hash browns or breakfast potatoes, and sausage or bacon. Sometimes on weekends, it's ham or steak. She eats almost nothing for lunch and usually has a smallish dinner, but she loves a huge breakfast. Meanwhile, I only ever have cold cereal for breakfast. Or maybe, if I'm feeling really ambitious, some instant oatmeal and orange juice. I only even start to come alive halfway through my second cup of coffee and definitely don't feel like cooking in the morning. However, my girlfriend obviously does. So recently I asked her if she'd start making breakfast for me too. She asked if we were going to trade off and if sometimes make breakfast for her too. I told her no, but reminded her that I do often make dinner for her. She said that since we trade off making dinner, we should trade off making breakfast too. I told her that there's no way I'll ever be able to muster that kind of energy first thing in the morning, but that since she obviously can, that she should just make me breakfast too. I said that it would take next to no extra effort on her part to throw in a couple of more eggs, strips of bacon, an extra portion of hash browns, etc. Since she's already doing it for herself anyway. But it started a fight with her saying that it wasn't fair for me to expect her to think of me in the morning since I don't do the same for her. She seems to think that her making breakfast for me should figure into our division of labor and that I should do something extra in return. But I think that since she makes a huge breakfast for herself every morning anyway, that throwing in an extra portion of whatever she's making on for me would take next to no effort on her part. So why should I have to do more for her in return that I already do?
You see, like, at first I was like, this is sticky. Then as he just kept talking, he just kept digging himself into a hole. And I was like, actually, you're trash. Like, this was very, like, yes, I can understand. Okay, yeah, bloody blah, I'm not a morning person, bloody blah. Please make me more breakfast when you're making breakfast. Cool. But there's a better way to go about that. Because, okay, she first initially proposes division of labor that you make breakfast sometimes too. You're like, yo, let's be honest. I probably won't be able to do that because I'm not a morning person. I will die. I'm not doing shit. But that was his opportunity to go, okay, I probably can't make you breakfast because, let's be honest, you and I both know I'm a fucking dead until like later on in the day.
His second cup of coffee.
So that what I'll do instead is I can take on dinner fully or I can take on lunch fully since you're pretty much taking on breakfast fully, and I will stick by that fully. You know, he could have said something like that. He could have said, oh, I'll owe you favors, something like he could have put it better, but then he's just like, I don't actually want to do extra. You're already doing it anyway, so you might as well just pop in a few more. Well, no, why don't you wake the fuck up and pop in a few more yourself? But no, so like I honestly, like, as I said, I initially, as I was hearing the story, I was like, oh, okay. But then he just kept talking and I was like, no, not you. No.
I don't know, man. So it's not like the guy's attitude, right? Because I do feel like he should have, compensated by being like, oh, I'll do X, Y, Z instead. It's like, it's really not that hard to add in a couple extra
Here we go.
things.
Miss Traditional Woman Nicoletta comes out.
Man. Okay, so you remember the story we had where the wife asked for a couple extra eggs, whatever, while he was making them, right? It's kind of the same boat, except even less so, because he's not requesting them for them to be cooked different. He's just requesting it to throw in some extra, right? And let's be honest, if you're putting stuff in the oven, it's really not that hard to just throw in like an extra two. Whereas like, imagine now he's like has to make dinner an extra like night when that requires a whole lot of effort in comparison to just throwing a few things in the oven. You can just throw
some extra rice onto the plate for dinner.
I mean, he could, but you know what I mean? Like, to me, like, I don't think his request is that much, and I think you should be making it for him anyway since you're awake early.
Oh, the girls are gonna love that one. But no, fucking hell, Nicoletta.
No, because if you were awake before me in the mornings, I would expect you to do it for me too.
We wake up at the same time, so it doesn't really matter.
No, but like it's hypothetically. That's why I said like if that was me, I would do it anyway.
Like once again, I think it depends on your relationship as well, like and all that stuff. And yes, I do agree with you. Like throwing in extra is not that deep.
Yeah.
Technically, it depends on like if it's just singular. Like for example, if it's just hash brown sausages like rashers, right? Literally, that's not that deep because it's just have them put them on a plate. But let's say she's making like some kind of like breakfast sandwich. That is extra effort because you have to build a whole new breakfast sandwich. Let's be honest. You have to cut a whole new piece of bagel and stack them. Okay, what's not that deep. Like we wouldn't find it deep, but some people would find that deep.
You could just do as my mom says, you know, give them the IKEA sandwich. So just leave the ingredients and let them build it themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, fair point. But once again, I do agree it's not that deep to just add there.
No.
My problem with it is how he approached it. The approach is what makes me think he's an asshole for it. Because once again, it's not that, yes, you're not asking like an outrageous request of like someone you love. You know, like if someone truly loves you, it's not that deep to them, right? And that's kind of like, I guess that was my initial problem with her, you know, before I saw his attitude, is that she instantly went to the mindset of bartering, as in like I do something, you do something, but that's not what a relationship is. Exactly. You do things for people because like if you ask me that, I'd be like, yeah, that's no problem, babe, whatever. If I ask you, you'd be like, yeah, that's no problem, babe, whatever. But she instantly went to bartering, but like bartering the task.
I didn't even deep that. Now that you say it, it's like you don't have to do something just because someone did something for you. Like in a relationship, it shouldn't work like that.
Exactly. Like obviously, unless you're being abused in the sense of like you're fucking taking everything, like you're doing everything, obviously. And they're just overusing you. That's a whole different story. But like in the centering, like she instantly went to bartering. That's where I was about like to be like, girl. But then when he just has attitude, so I was just like, his attitude is really shitty about the way he approached the bartering situation. Like he could have called it out and or either like being like bloody, or either, as I said, being like, oh, I will do this, do that, whatever, you know. But so like I just feel like his attitude trumps the whole bartering thing.
But would his attitude be the same if their dynamic was different? Like if his girlfriend was a little bit more like, you know, chill, calm, understanding type of thing.
I feel like we'd need to know more about the structures of the relationship before we could really judge on that.
You're right.
You know?
You're right. I don't know. The way she just instantly said no, I'm like, ugh.
Well, no, the way she instantly went, yeah, I will if you do this.
What are you going to do for me? What do I get out of it?
How much do I get paid every breakfast I make?
Also, can we just talk about how she only wakes up 30 minutes before him? It's really not that early. Like he's saying it as if she's up at 5 a.m. and he's up at like 8. But it's 30 minutes.
I think it's the energy. That's the thing. As in like she wakes up 30 minutes before him, but she's instantly doing stuff. Yeah. Whereas he's like, he wakes up, but he's slugging his way through the morning, you know? So, and that's why also I said like attitude, because he's like, oh, but my second coffee, I don't even want to make breakfast. Like,
I just eat cold cereal. Feel bad for me.
It sounds as if he's struggling to pour the milk into the bowl.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. It's definitely sticky, and
I think his attitude makes him an asshole.
Yeah.
But I believe her instant going to bartering makes her questionable. I don't think she's an asshole, but I question like that dynamic.
I think I'm gonna go with everyone sucks here, because I do think that everyone sucks in this situation. Period. On to the next story. Am I the asshole for using flashcards to explain to my brother and his wife why they can't bring their rainbow baby to my wedding? This is the first time I read the story and it already sounds funny. Okay. My fiance and I are getting married. We've decided wedding's gonna be child-free. No hate towards children, just to keep it more organized and contained. My brother, Chris, and his wife have a 3-year-old son who everyone calls Miracle or Rainbow Baby. He came after several failed pregnancies that lasted for years. When they found out that my nephew was included in the no children rule, they tried to convince me to make an exception for him. Chris told me his son is a miracle baby, and his presence at the wedding will bring blessings for me and my fiance. I refused and said, no, the wedding is child-free. His wife kept sending my fiance pics of my nephew when he was months old. What does that mean? I told him no and to stop. My brother told me this might cause a rift in our relationship. I again said no and explained that the wedding is child-free. He asked again and pointed at how his baby is different since he's a rainbow, a miracle baby. I again said no and explained that the wedding is child-free. They brought it up when they visited at my home, and I knew they weren't going to stop. So I'd made flashcards in advance with the phrase, "The wedding is child-free, period," and pulled them out and started slowly showing them the flashcards one by one in this order. The wedding is child-free, period.
Period.
They both were stunned. I asked if they get it now, and Chris had lost his ish. His wife had already grabbed her stuff and walked out. Chris called me an a-hole for doing this and said that I disrespected him, his wife, and their son, who's my one and only nephew. He rushed out after we argued. My fiance saw the whole thing and thought that it was funny, but my parents and Chris are livid beyond measure. They're telling everyone about the amount of disrespect and mockery I had displayed towards them, and I'm being told to fix it now.
The wedding is child-free, period. I do not think this guy is not sold by any sense of the fucking word, by the way. This is ridiculous. Like, once again, I don't give a fuck how miracle and rainbow your baby is. They said no babies at the wedding, no kids, simple, period. Like, you know, for real, like, it's not that deep. If you really want your kid there, just don't go. Stay with your kid. Don't go to your brother's wedding. End of story.
I'm gonna out myself here and say that when I read the title, I thought it was something about the kid being part of the LGBTQ.
Yeah, that would have been really bad.
I was so confused because it was rainbow baby. I never heard that term used for a miracle child, so I was a little bit like, huh, what? Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Yeah, bad.
I can't back you here.
What's your opinion on child-free weddings?
I love it. I love it. Because, let's be honest, children are annoying at weddings. They don't, because, like, they don't give a fuck about the wedding. Like, it's just boring along for them. And up until they get food and, like, drinks at the party, like, it's just a long ordeal. So they don't want to be there. You're making them be there. So they just act out, you know? And even if they don't act out, you're just making some kids suffer suffer at the wedding for no reason because they have no interest, like, you know? So, like, you might as well just let them just be at home or something, like, with a babysitter or whatever, or do whatever. Like, if they're old enough to, like, chill at home, just let them, like, you know, whatever. It's really not that deep. Like, I don't know why you need to have your baby there. Like, if you really want to be your baby, just don't go.
Like you said, you gotta stay at home.
Like, you just literally be like, hey, I really want to be my kid. I need to look after them. I can't spend a second away from my children. My eyes has to be at them all the time. I'm going to stay home.
I love the passive aggressiveness.
Honestly, like, that's a whole different topic that we will have to cover in a different episode about how child obsessed some people are, like, with their kids. Like, grow the fuck up, please.
It's the everyday Insta stories for me. Like, oh, you have a kid. You have a kid again. Cool. And again. Do you know what? I'm not for child-free weddings completely. I'm for child-free receptions. Because I think a lot of the videos that you see online and stuff, they're very, like, you know, cinematic, and you want a nice, like, photos of the, you know, bride walking down the aisle, whatever. And if there's, like, a kid crying in the background or a kid, like, running in front of me, I would actually tweak. Like, I would tweak. Shut up. I'm gonna kill you. No, but literally, like, I just find that so annoying, right? So at reception, I'm not for kids. I do not want kids there under the age of 12, maybe. I think 12 is passable, you know?
Do you wish for this lovely lady to be your bride?
And then a grown-ass kid, like, just throw something at your head because they think it's funny because they're a teen. Yeah. it's completely different. But then even at the wedding itself, I like the idea of having like a child section, you know, like where you actually hire someone to look after the kids.
Oh, you just ostracize them into the corner.
No, it's because if they get bored and have nothing to do, I'd rather them like have like a bouncy castle there or something for them. You know what I mean?
I get you.
So they have like something to do, but like, yeah.
No kids at my goddamn wedding.
It's our wedding, idiot.
No kids.
There won't be kids
at
at reception, but there will be kids at the wedding. What's wrong with that?
No kids. Keep your kids at home. I'll even pay for your babysitter.
Girl, on to the next story. Am I the asshole for eating my husband's entire birthday cake by myself? I'll preface this by saying that my husband's family and I don't get along like at all. We're rarely ever on good terms, and for my mental health, I decided to put distance between us, especially after I was blamed for my most recent miscarriage. My husband can still see and visit them whenever he wants. For me, I don't attend any of their events, not even Thanksgiving nor Christmas. My husband's 30th birthday was 2 days ago. I planned to celebrate with him. I bought a cake and a gift, but he said that his family invited him to celebrate his birthday and he really, really, really wanted to go because the birthday parties with his family throw are like no others. We had an argument over this, but he told me to wait for him till he finishes celebrating there with his family, then we could celebrate together at home and eat cake. After he left, I felt so terrible. I called him, but he turned his phone off. I was so mad, I took the cake and brought it to the living room and started eating from it. I ate the whole thing, not saving him a single piece. Guess I was so angry that it made me hungry. He came home and saw what I did and blew up, saying I did this to be spiteful and to punish him for not ditching his family on his birthday, like I wanted him to. I reminded him I paid for the cake, but he called me petty and nuts. He ranted and ranted, then said that he didn't get to eat cake at his parents' house because lots of kids were there and he didn't get enough cake, and what I did was 10 times worse. He's been upset with me ever since.
Straightforward, I'm just gonna say this, like get my statement out there. Everyone sucks here. Let me land.
Oh.
So he sucks because he did not, one, need to make the statement saying like, my parents throw the best birthday parties. Shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit. Okay. 2, like ignoring her calls. Annoying. But her, once again, you know you don't like his family. You know you don't get along with his family. Both of you could have come to some agreement being like, hey, yeah, your parents are probably throwing a birthday party at this day, find out what day, and then we will do a birthday party together on a different date. Separate days. You could have easily, it's very easy. You and I know how easy, we could have easily planned separate days if we didn't want like to see the parents, okay? Very easy. And then not only that you failed to do that, on both sides, they both failed to do that. The next part is oh my God, eating the cake. I don't care that you ate the cake. It's the reason behind why you ate the cake. That's like, just like, I get it. He pissed you off, but it's a lot more, makes more sense to just be like an adult about it and be like, yo, we fucked up. You fucked up. Realistically, you should have planned this better. But also at the same time, it really got me mad. I thought about eating all your cake, but I realized that I'm better than that because I still love you. Here's your stupid cake. Hope you enjoy it. Choke on it. And next time, plan things better. You know?
Okay.
And that's why I think everyone sucks here, because she could have handled it better and he most definitely could have handled it better.
Okay.
It's just bad planning on both sides.
I'm going to disagree respectfully with you.
How do you?
Because I feel like if we didn't know the reason why they don't get along, and if it was like more of I just don't get along with his family, it would be fine. But I'm very upset by the fact that they blaming her for the miscarriage.
That's false.
And that's really messed up. I think if you as a husband are still like choosing them over your wife at that stage, like, you wouldn't be my husband, you know? And I think him and his family can get fucked. essentially.
Yeah, like I didn't even want to go into that whole
No, because this
carriage
is
thing. Like
it's
that's
such
a whole
a
fucked situation.
but
on
it's
its
such
own,
an
like.
important point in the story, because I think what she did, based off everything that the whole story that we have, she's completely in the right. I think she should have taken the cake with her and just left this whole man behind, because he's clearly still choosing the family, and like after everything, like no, that's just way too messed up.
Yeah,
in my
no,
opinion.
it's fucked. Like with the miscarriage, it's a whole different situation. I was looking at it from just the cake angle, but with the whole miscarriage, it's just like it's so fucked, super ultra fucked. Like I don't know what the fuck the whole story is there or whatever the hell, but like obviously like it's fucked. But I can also understand why, like, despite the beef she has with the parents, why he wouldn't let like abandon his family like as well.
He
like,
doesn't
as much as
like
she is, but like obviously I do understand what you're saying, as in like that, which goes back to my point of like him making the statement of like, oh, they throw the best parties ever. It's like you probably shouldn't be gassing up people who are tearing down your wife, but at the same time it doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life, you know.
Absolutely. I don't think you should, you know, but it sounds, by the sounds of it, he wants to have a life with this woman, bring a kid into this world, and like then to have this kind of like separate life away with your parents and choosing them times and times again. I wouldn't want that. Like if that was me in that position, I would be so hurt.
Yeah. And that's why it goes back to my first point of you guys should have planned this better.
You guys should not be together.
That's a fair point.
But yeah, what do you do if your parents don't like me?
I wouldn't be with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Simple as.
I can't be with
Plain
you.
as. Even though that you see how amazing and caring I am. Doesn't matter.
You've only been here for a while. They've known me since I was born, so
that's not good enough.
Awkward.
That's not good enough.
Awkward.
Respectfully, that's not good enough.
Awkward.
Like you're essentially saying to everyone who's been like abused by a parent or whatever that like, but they've been there for longer.
Oh God, no! If your parents are shitty people, like don't be picking if your family is shitty people, don't pick your family over like people who are actually genuinely care for you.
Exactly.
But like if your family's been good to you, like, and let's say they don't like your partner.
Yeah.
Obviously, be an adult and really re-evaluate why they don't like them.
Yeah.
Because they might be something you're not seeing. Or two, like try see if you can reduce the tension in that situation, because maybe they're seeing something that actually isn't there. But if it then comes down to a thing where they just can't get along, you really need to reevaluate how much you like peace of mind. Because I'll tell you this one thing right now. Yes, your partner will be there, but your parents and your family will always be there. Like they will always be at the back of your brain. They will be able to get to you consistently. So like if you want peace in your life, make the best decision for yourself. Like whether it's cutting off your family or breaking up with someone. And also, let me be honest, if you've been with someone for like less than 2 years and like your family doesn't like them and there's something like that, it's really not that deep to cut them out of your life. I'm just gonna say that because like 2 years means nothing in comparison to someone who's known you for like all your life, you know. Obviously at the same time, I'm not saying like you glorify what they did, but like at the same time, peace.
Let me put it in a specific scenario. What if they're mad at the fact that the girl that you're bringing home has an OnlyFans?
That's just, oh my days, that's just a whole thing like on its own. Like once again, depends how long I've been with this person and how much ever I really want peace in my life. Like
how do you navigate the situation?
I think you navigate it based on who you are and what you feel like, because like once again, like your family is your family and your partner is your partner, you know. So you literally like, as long as neither of them are making you choose, and it's just a situation where you're the one be like, okay, there's just so much conflict here and I can't deal with it that I need to choose, then you make that decision on your own based off whatever like factors you play and like whatever. But obviously like, because like let's be honest, there's two scenarios here. Like you can choose your partner and then you guys end up breaking up and then you lost your family for what? Now you have no one, right? And like, yeah, if you're lucky, your family might be like, yeah, you were stupid, you made a bad decision, come back, right? But you could also be in a scenario where you choose your family and like it does nothing for you because like you really like the person there and like whatever you feel like you lost out, blah, 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 blah. So like there's no real winning in this scenario. It's just like, what are you willing to lose?
Yeah. I would like I would like to believe that, you know, most parents wouldn't just, you know, kick you away and pretend that you don't exist. But then again, that does happen. So like, it is tough because it's like potential, like, you know, love of my life forever, blah, 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 wife of my kids, and then like my parents who birthed me, and like it's not easy, you know. So like tread carefully.
But also at the same time, like, you know, in those scenarios, sometimes it's not even like your parents kick you away. You kick your parents away just because like they, like, for example, you know they don't get along with your partners, so it makes it too awkward for you to ever do something. Like, let's say you're close to your family, like you can't bring it. Like, you know, it's awkward if you bring your partner over. Like,
that's not fair.
Like let's say they're accommodating, they'll accommodate her. They don't like her, and they'll tell you like, but they'll never say to her face. They'll never do whatever. And then, but for you, it just feels awkward. Like for sometimes someone, it's the awkwardness for them that's the problem, not the like. Because the parents could actually be like, straight up to you and be like, we don't like this person, we'll never accept this person, but we will always be like respectful to this person.
Yeah, but that's not fair. That's just the slow shitty way of them not accepting your partner and pushing you away. Because what are you gonna do, keep putting your partner in that situation? No, and they know you won't, so they're like, we're not the bad guys. Well, I've seen people like that.
No, but I'm talking about a scenario where they actually are good to the person, but they just don't like what the person does. Do you get me?
Well, if they are good, then I don't see the problem.
No, because some people just don't want that situation because they're like, oh, but they don't like her. You know, like in the back of their brain, they're always like, oh, they don't like this person.
To me, it's still your parents like just choosing to alienate you instead of being like, why does my son like this woman? Like, let's see what she's about.
Oh, it's like a search. See what her skills are, why you staying.
See what her skills are, I suppose. On to the last story of the day. And it goes like this. Am I the asshole for asking for a morning off from my baby on the weekends? My wife and I have a 6-month-old baby girl. She is mostly a stay-at-home mom. She works 2 half days a week and her sisters watch the baby. I work full-time and go to school 1 day a week. We've always had an arrangement where she takes care of the household duties, cooking, cleaning, and now baby care, while I happily support her monetarily. Honestly, we are both living our dream life, and my wife does an absolute spectacular job taking care of me and our little one. On the weekends, we share baby duty. We usually make sure each of us gets our own alone time to do whatever we want. However, our girl has hit a bit of a sleep regression, waking up every 2 hours since my wife breastfeeds. She's always taking care of the baby full-time overnight. She's a light sleeper and unfortunately has insomnia, whereas I'm a deep sleeper and wouldn't wake up for babies crying anyways. Recently, my wife has been asking me to wake up with the baby both days on the weekends so she can get an extra hour of sleep. Baby wakes up around 7 a.m. I get the baby dressed and take over for the hour, but sometimes I want to be the one that gets to sleep in an extra hour. I brought this up to her, and she said while she's happy to let me nap during the day, she really needs the hour because she can't nap like I can. We got into an argument about it, and she said I'm being very insensitive when I know she's very exhausted and can't nap during the day, and she struggles going back to sleep every time the baby wakes up. But I'm exhausted too. Work wears me out, and school days are long, and I sometimes want the hour in the morning. I don't want to spend my off time napping. I want to play video games and chill out.
I actually can't fight for you there, boss. I'm sorry to say that you are straight up the asshole. Like, it's really all she's asking for you to do that 1 extra hour. Oh my God. And there's a very valid point that she's unable to nap during the day. So like, it makes sense for you to be the one. And like, this is both your babies, you know, like you should be willing to sacrifice like that hour, imagine hour, you know, like whatever, like, once again, like some people can fight this all they want, but I'm not backing you. I can't back this guy there. This is absolutely, like, to me, that's not even deep. Like, it's really not that deep. Just give up 1 hour. Like,
do you know what my question is? Do you know in like the traditional type relationships where like, you know, wife takes care of all the household duties like this girl is? Does that include the weekends too? Like,
yeah, it's 24/7, bro.
Okay. So the dad doesn't have to do anything on the weekends, like take care of the kid.
You read the story, didn't you?
Well, see, I did, but they had an agreement. But I'm just wondering regarding traditional relationships in general.
We'd have to ask someone, but I think it depends really, like, on which relationship to relationship, like how they deal with it. But like in this scenario, they agreed that he doesn't have to do shit, and that's why doing this 1 extra hour is really killing him, because he's like,
I want to play video games.
I don't want to nap for an hour. I want to play video games. Man, imagine
The freedom.
Sounds like a skill issue, bro. Why do you need that extra hour? You that bad that you need that extra hour? Nah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, and obviously I do think he's the asshole. Simple as, this is, like you said, it's your kid too, and your wife is, the fact that she's waking up during the night, she's the only person
like
doing it.
He's doing fuck all, let's be honest.
He's doing
fuck all.
He's doing absolutely
he's
nothing.
pretty much doing jack shit in this thing, and she's asking for one favor once ever, and he's like, hold up a minute.
Yeah.
You trying to make me do all the work?
But also the thing is, like, the kid is gonna grow up. It's not gonna be forever. Like, just suck it up for a little bit.
Like,
a few months.
It's really not that deep. It's really not that deep.
Yeah.
Like, he's crying over it for no reason.
No, I know.
1 day, 1 hour.
No, I completely agree with you. I do think he's an absolute villain. And she deserves a little bit more. But then again, like, it is their arrangement. They're happy with it. He's providing financially.
And she's happy with it. It's just one bump in the road, but like, it's a pretty weird bump to have, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I keep thinking of that though? Like, when we have babies, I need my sleep. How's it gonna work?
Yeah, and cheers for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that shit, do all that stuff, and let us know what you think about these stories. Give your inputs. These will probably be on Reels and TikTok and so on and so forth. So we know you guys will give your input whether we care about it or not. Like, let's be honest. But hope you guys enjoyed.
Till next time.
Peace.